Title: The Whispering Woods. Chapter 1: Into the Unknown. The dense forest loomed ominously, its trees standing tall and thick, their branches intertwined like gnarled fingers reaching out from the darkness. The air was thick with a heavy silence, broken only by the occasional rustle of leaves or the distant call of an unseen creature. Despite the warnings from the locals, a group of friends ventured into the heart of the woods, seeking adventure and excitement. Among them was Emily, a thrill-seeker with an insatiable curiosity. She led the group confidently, her flashlight cutting through the darkness like a beacon in the night. Close behind her trailed Jake, her loyal companion and skeptic of all things supernatural. Trailing behind them were Mark and Sarah, a couple seeking a romantic getaway in the wilderness. As they delved deeper into the forest, the trees seemed to close in around them, creating an oppressive atmosphere that sent shivers down their spines. Emily brushed off their unease, dismissing it as nothing more than nerves. But as they ventured further from the safety of the beaten path, an unsettling feeling began to settle over them, like a dark cloud descending upon their minds. Suddenly, Emily halted, her flashlight flickering as she scanned the surrounding trees. Something felt off, a sense of being watched by unseen eyes. She shook her head, chiding herself for succumbing to paranoia, but the feeling persisted, growing stronger with each passing moment. "Did you hear that?" Sarah whispered, her voice barely audible over the rustling leaves. Emily strained her ears, listening intently for any sign of danger. But all she heard was the faint sound of a breeze rustling through the trees. She dismissed Sarah's words with a wave of her hand, eager to press on and prove that there was nothing to fear. But as they continued deeper into the forest, the sense of unease only grew, like a weight pressing down upon their chests. Emily's flashlight flickered once more, casting eerie shadows that danced along the forest floor. She cursed under her breath, shaking the flashlight in frustration, as if to dispel the darkness that threatened to consume them. Suddenly, the forest fell silent, the rustling leaves and distant calls of wildlife fading into nothingness. Emily's heart pounded in her chest as she turned to face her friends, her eyes wide with fear. "We need to turn back," she said, her voice trembling with uncertainty. "There's something wrong here, something evil." But before they could heed her warning, a chilling wind swept through the trees, extinguishing their flashlights in an instant. Darkness enveloped them like a suffocating blanket, leaving them blind and disoriented in the heart of the forest. Chapter 2: Lost in the Shadows. With their flashlights extinguished, the darkness seemed to swallow them whole, leaving them stranded in an unfamiliar world of shadows and whispers. Panic began to rise within them, threatening to consume their minds with irrational fear. "We need to stick together," Emily said, her voice barely audible over the sound of their pounding hearts. "Hold on to each other and don't let go." They obeyed her command, clinging to one another like frightened children lost in the night. But even in the safety of each other's arms, they couldn't shake the feeling of impending doom that hung heavy in the air. "We need to find a way out of here," Jake said, his voice tinged with desperation. "We can't stay in this darkness forever." But as they stumbled blindly through the forest, it soon became clear that escape was not so easily attained. The trees seemed to shift and change around them, twisting into grotesque shapes that seemed to mock their attempts to find their way home. "We're going in circles," Sarah said, her voice trembling with fear. "We'll never find our way out of this maze." Emily refused to give in to despair, her determination fueling her onwards, despite the overwhelming odds stacked against them. But as they pressed on through the darkness, a new sound joined the chorus of whispers that echoed through the trees. It was a faint, rhythmic tapping, like the sound of distant footsteps drawing closer with each passing moment. Emily's blood ran cold as she realized the source of the sound, her mind conjuring images of unseen horrors lurking just beyond the reach of their senses. "We're not alone out here," she whispered, her voice barely a whisper in the oppressive silence. "There's something in these woods, something watching us." But before they could react, a deafening roar shattered the silence, sending them scrambling for cover as a wave of terror washed over them. They huddled together in the darkness, their breaths coming in ragged gasps as they waited for the unknown horror to reveal itself. Minutes passed like hours as they cowered in fear, their minds racing with thoughts of what unspeakable horrors awaited them in the darkness. But just as suddenly as it had begun, the roar faded into nothingness, leaving them alone once more in the oppressive silence of the forest. "We need to keep moving," Emily said, her voice tinged with determination. "We can't let fear control us." With newfound resolve, they pressed on through the darkness, their footsteps echoing through the silent forest like a death knell tolling in the night. But with each passing moment, the whispers grew louder, their words twisted and distorted into a cacophony of madness that threatened to consume their minds. And as they stumbled blindly through the forest, they realized that escape was not their only concern. For in the heart of the whispering woods, something ancient and malevolent lurked, its hunger growing with each passing moment as it waited patiently for its next unsuspecting victims. Chapter 3: The Haunting. As the darkness pressed in around them, the group found themselves drawn inexorably towards a clearing at the heart of the forest. There, amidst the gnarled trees and tangled undergrowth, stood an ancient mansion, its crumbling facade looming ominously in the moonlight. "We have to get inside," Emily said, her voice barely audible over the pounding of her heart. "It's our only chance." With trembling hands, they pushed open the rusted gates and stepped into the shadowy courtyard beyond. The mansion loomed before them like a silent sentinel, its windows boarded up and its doors sealed shut against the outside world. But despite its dilapidated appearance, there was an undeniable allure to the mansion, a sense of forbidden knowledge waiting to be uncovered within its decaying walls. With a silent nod to one another, the group approached the mansion, their footsteps echoing through the silent courtyard like a harbinger of doom. As they crossed the threshold into the darkness beyond, a chill wind swept through the mansion, sending shivers down their spines. The air was thick with the scent of decay, and the sound of their footsteps echoed hollowly through the empty halls. "We shouldn't be here," Jake said, his voice tinged with unease. "This place is cursed, I can feel it." But Emily refused to listen to reason, her curiosity driving her onwards despite the warnings of her friends. With each step, the darkness seemed to grow thicker, wrapping around them like a suffocating blanket that threatened to consume their very souls. And as they delved deeper into the mansion's labyrinthine corridors, they began to uncover the secrets hidden within its walls. Ghostly apparitions flitted through,